The moment your money touches a bank, it starts losing power, not slowly, not eventually. Immediately, nothing illegal happens, nothing dramatic, no alarms go off, but the money you thought you owned quietly stops working the way you think it does. And almost no one notices. Right now, trillions of dollars sit inside banks. People believe that money is waiting for them. Safe, stored, neutral. That belief is wrong, and understanding why has never mattered more than it does right now, because inflation isn't the real story. Interest rates aren't the real story. Even government spending isn't the real story. The real story is what happens to money the moment it enters the banking system, and once you see it, you'll understand why money feels weaker every year, even when the numbers in your account go up. Let's start with something familiar. You get paid. Your salary hits your bank account. You feel stable, responsible, maybe even proud. The APP shows a balance, a number, a sense of control, but that number does not mean what you think it means. Because your money is no longer just your money, the instant it enters the bank, it becomes something else. To understand that, we need to strip this down to first principles. Forget finance jargon. Forget markets. Forget Wall Street. Imagine a village. In this village, everyone stores gold with a trusted vault keeper. You give the vault your gold. They give you a receipt. That receipt says you can claim your gold anytime, as long as everyone believes the gold is there. The receipts work like money. Now here's the uncomfortable part. The vault keeper notices something. People almost never come at the same time to get their gold. Most just leave it there. So the vault keeper starts lending some of that gold out. Not all of it, just a portion. They charge interest. The system works until too many people want their gold back at once. That's the original banking model, and nothing fundamental has changed. Modern banks don't store your money, they transform it. When your money enters a bank, it stops being a stored object and becomes a liability. That's not a metaphor. That's the legal reality. Your deposit is not your asset anymore. It's the bank's liability. They owe it to you, and they use it. Banks do not take deposits and then lend them out later. They create new money when they lend. This is where most explanations get technical and boring. So let's make it painfully simple. When a bank approves a loan, it does not move existing money. It types new money into existence. The loan becomes an asset for the bank. The deposit becomes a liability. Two numbers appear on a screen. No truck of cash. No vault opening. No transfer from savers to borrowers. Money is created by balance sheets. This is why money loses power the moment it touches a bank, because it becomes raw material for expansion. Your dollar is no longer static, it's leveraged, multiplied, reused. Now pause and think about what that means. If banks can create money by lending, then the total amount of money grows faster than the real economy. More claims on the same goods, same houses, same food, same energy. Prices rise, not because people are greedy, not because businesses are evil, but because the unit of measurement is being stretched. Inflation is not just prices going up, it's money becoming thinner, and banks are the thinning machine. This is where the irony kicks in. The safer you think your money is, the more aggressively it is used. Large, stable deposits are gold mines for banks. Your savings account is not sitting quietly. It is being copied. Again and again, $1 supports multiple dollars of lending. That's not a conspiracy, that's the system, and it's encouraged. Governments rely on it. Markets rely on it. Growth relies on it, because without bank-created money, modern economies stall. Here's the quiet absurdity. People are told to save more, be responsible, build an emergency fund, but the system punishes idle money. Savings earn less than inflation. Interest rates trail price growth. Your purchasing power leaks away. You did nothing wrong. The system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Which brings us to the uncomfortable math. Let's say inflation runs at 4, your savings account pays 1. You are losing 3% purchasing power every year, but the bank is lending that same money at 6%, 7%, 8%. The gap is the extraction, not theft. Extraction. Your money becomes cheaper fuel for someone else's growth. And here's where timing matters. This system worked differently when growth was fast. After World War II, economies expanded rapidly. Population grew. Productivity exploded. Energy was cheap. New money creation was absorbed by real growth. Today, growth is slower. Aging populations. Debt everywhere. Resource constraints, but money creation continues. So the pressure shows up in prices. Assets first, then essentials. Housing, stocks, healthcare, food. People feel poorer not because they earn less, but because money no longer anchors value. Now let's address the myth. People say banks lend out deposits. They don't. Deposits come after loans. This is backwards from how most people imagine it. Loans create deposits, which means banks are not intermediaries. They are money manufacturers, highly regulated ones, but manufacturers nonetheless, and once you see that, a lot of things make sense. Why governments panic during bank crises. Why bailouts happen fast. Why? Interest rate changes ripple everywhere, because banks sit at the center of money creation, and your money is their input. Now zoom out. Why does money lose power the moment it touches a bank? Because it enters a system that prioritizes expansion over preservation. Banks are not designed to store value. They are designed to circulate it aggressively, relentlessly. The moment money stops moving, the system strains. That's why cash hoarding is discouraged. That's why negative rates were even discussed. That's why inflation targets exist. A little loss of purchasing power is considered healthy for the system, not necessarily for you. This creates a strange tension. You want stability. The system wants motion. You want money to hold value. The system wants money to flow, and banks are the mechanism that enforces that flow. Even when it hurts. Now contrast the hype with reality. We're told banks protect us, keep money safe, offer security, and they do, from theft, from fire, from physical loss, but not from dilution, not from erosion, not from systemic weakening. In fact, they are the delivery mechanism for it. Quietly, legally, efficiently. This doesn't mean banks are evil. It means they serve a different objective than most people assume. Their job is not to preserve your money's power. Their job is to expend credit. Those goals are not the same, and when they conflict, preservation loses. Now think about what happens in crises. When confidence drops, people want their money back. Suddenly at the same time, but the money isn't there. Not in physical form, because it was never meant to be. So central banks step in. They create reserves. They guarantee deposits. They backstop the system. More money, more dilution, stability through expansion. This is why every rescue deepens the long-term problem while fixing the short-term panic. The irony is brutal. The system survives by weakening the unit everyone relies on. Which brings us to the present moment. High interest rates are supposed to fight inflation, but they also increase debt costs. Slow growth. Strained banks. So policymakers walk a tightrope. Too tight, things break. Too loose, money erodes faster. There is no painless setting, and through all of this, your money sits inside banks, exposed to decisions you don't control, losing power not because of a single policy, but because of the structure itself. So what's the bigger implication? It means money is no longer a neutral store of value. It's a participant in a system with incentives, and those incentives favor borrowers, leverage, and expansion, not savers, not patience, not preservation. That doesn't mean saving is pointless. It means understanding where you place money matters. It means the bank account number is not the full story, and it means financial security is no longer about how much money you have, but how exposed it is to dilution. Here's the final uncomfortable thought. Money didn't always work like this. This system was built intentionally, gradually, in response to crises, and once built, it became impossible to turn off because too many promises depend on it, too many debts, too many expectations, too much leverage. So when your money touches a bank, it enters that machine. It becomes part of something bigger than you, something efficient, powerful, and quietly corrosive. The real question isn't whether this system will change. The real question is whether money can ever regain power inside a system that depends on it losing some every year. And if not, what does saving even mean anymore?